Today, campaign season officially got underway for New York's Republican Party. The GOP convention kicking off at the Hilton in Westchester and Rye Brook, and the county executive, Rob Astorino from Westchester County, announced his bid for governor as expected. Attorney General candidate John Cahill and comptroller candidate Bob Antonacci, he also got the party nod. Now, earlier today, our senior political correspondent Andrew Whitman, who's covering this event, he spoke with the state party chairman, Ed Cox.
And we're joined now by the man who is hosting the state Republican convention, the party chairman, Ed Cox. Mr. Cox, thanks for a few minutes.
Andrew, always good to be with you.
First of all, what a difference 4 years makes. 4 years ago, there were some disputed races. There were some heated contests going back and forth. It seems like much more clarity in the party this go round.
Well, it was exciting 4 years ago, but it's exciting this time in another way. This year, we have a chance to win. And we have the candidates who can win. Rob Astorino, been 2-1 Democratic, Westchester County. He won not only in 2009, but re-elected in 2013, getting 60% of the Hispanic vote, 25% of the African American vote. If he can win in 2-1 Westchester, he can win in 2-1 Democratic state of New York. And by the way, Andrew Cuomo knows it. That's why he has the President of the United States in here today. He needs to have that to bolster him.
As we open the convention, the name that comes to mind for me is George Pataki. He's the last Republican to win statewide office in the state of New York. What do you think has changed in terms of either the conditions in the state or the Republican Party to make the brand more palatable to voters?
I think our message is palatable to voters who want to have economic growth in New York State. New York is still the least business-friendly state in the United States. It's got the highest taxes in the United States. It's got the highest energy costs, the highest education costs with mediocre results. I can go on, and the least best economic outlook. That has to change. 400,000 citizens have left New York during Andrew Cuomo's governorship. It's time for that to change. The people of New York State understand that. That's why Andrew Cuomo's job approval is hovering in the low to mid 40s. And that means we can win, and we've got a candidate who can win in Rob Astorino.
And I know you and County Executive Astorino are hoping to make this a race that's focused on economic and fiscal issues for the state. There are also social issues that could be more difficult to swallow for some voters in New York. The SAFE Act, which had popular support at the time of its passing, Mr. Astorino is pro-life, or certainly more pro-life than pro-choice. Is there concern that the social issues may erode into the economic message for you and the party?
I have no concern about that. Here, Westchester County is one of the most socially liberal counties in the United States, just like New Jersey is one of the most socially liberal states in the United States. Yet pro-life, Chris Christie won in New Jersey in 2009. Pro-life, Rob Astorino won in Westchester County. Be focused on the issues that the people of their jurisdictions care about, and that's jobs, growth in the economy, and that's the message that we just heard as our keynote address here from Larry Kudlow.
Last Siena poll had 70% of New York State voters didn't know enough about Rob Astorino to form an opinion. Certainly Andrew Cuomo is doing what he can to try to identify Rob Astorino in the way that he would prefer. How do you overcome that knowledge deficit among voters?
I was part of the 94 campaign with Governor Pataki. We are way ahead of where George Pataki was in name recognition. And Rob has actually been an executive here of a major county. Westchester County is a major, complicated county. 22% of the county are Hispanics. There's a lot of the issues of New York City here. Rob Astorino has handled those issues now for 4+ years. He's ready to be governor of New York State.
Looking down the ticket, why do you think Republican nominees for Attorney General and Comptroller stand a better chance than they did 4 years ago or 8 years ago?
Oh, well, let me say, Attorney General John Cahill, again from Westchester County. Look, here's a person who understands the problems in New York State. He was Chief of Staff to Governor Pataki for 4 years. He was General Counsel at the Department of Environmental Conservation. He's been a lawyer at a major firm for the last 7 years. He's not attached to the special interests. That's why there's Democratic culture of corruption in Albany. Democratic Attorney General is afraid of taking on the special interests of his party. John Cahill of Westchester County will not be. He's a man of integrity. He's a great lawyer. He's going to clean up Albany.
Party Chairman Ed Cox working hard to ensure party unity at this year's convention, something we did not see 4 years ago. And that unity coming from an unlikely source, the man who was nominated for governor 4 years ago, Carl Palladino. I spoke with him earlier today. Mr. Palladino, first of all, lessons from your campaign. Can a conservative, especially on social issues, win the governor's mansion in New York in 2014?
I don't think we're interested in social issues this year. I think we're interested in economic, fiscal issues. Fracking is probably the most important. The tax burdens that we carry, which deny us economic expansion, and the overregulation of our industries. That's what has to come to an end. And that's, I think, the people are connecting the dots. Andrew Cuomo has made so many mistakes this year in how he has handled those issues like fracking, like this startup New York, which is a nonsensical economic development program.
And I want to get back to those economic issues in just a moment, but there may be some independent or moderate voters who say, I'm open to what the Republican Party is saying on economic and fiscal issues, but I'm not sure I can pay the price on social issues, where it does seem to be a tad out of step with New York State voters. Your reaction?
The law is the law on the social issues, okay? Now, I'm not talking about SAFE Act right now. I'm talking about things like abortion and gay marriage and that stuff. The law is the law. That's it. Nobody's going to change it. It's not going to change. I mean, the governor has little effect upon that once it becomes the law. So I don't see any reason for anyone to have that kind of concern. On the SAFE Act, though, what we have to be concerned with is not necessarily SAFE Act 1. We have to be concerned with SAFE Act 2, okay, which a lame duck governor, okay, serving his second term would, especially a guy that wants to run for president of the United States and wants to be to the left of Hillary and the left of Obama, all right, he's going to give us SAFE Act 2, which is going to be punishing. Okay, it's going to be a horror show for gun owners, whether they be hunters or people that have a military past or whatever. All right? People like that are going to come out in droves in this election because we're going to connect the dots for them. We're going to show them how Andrew Cuomo has infringed upon the Second Amendment rights, and what they have to fear is not necessarily the imposition of this SAFE Act 1, but SAFE Act 2.
Back to the fiscal issues that you started by talking about. You know, there are a lot of progressives and Democrats who are unhappy with Governor Cuomo
can't get jobs,
but for being too conservative in some of his notions in terms of budgeting and other complaints.
You think he's a budget conservative? Forget about it. No, he's not. All right, he's spending our money recklessly. $258 million in an economic development campaign that they're sending out nationally, telling people and lying. Okay, telling people that we're creating jobs in the state of New York, second in the nation. Total lies and fabrications. Okay, and he's wasting the public's money, $258 million. And I would suspect that when we find out the connection between the advertising agency and him, all right, that we're going to expose that nonsense.
Final question, if we can get this in under the band playing. It is a convention after all. What's the one lesson from your gubernatorial run 4 years ago? If you had one piece of advice to give to Rob Astorino based on your own experience, what would it be?
Speak from the heart.
Well, that you certainly had no trouble doing.
No.
All right. Carl Palladino, thanks for a few minutes.
Thank you.
Palladino seemed to enjoy his role and his presence here at the convention today, and he says he'll be back tomorrow for even more. We have more coming from the Republican convention today in just a moment, but Rich, let's send it back to you.
All right, up next here, we're going to have more from the GOP convention as the movers and shakers in the Republican Party are all in one place. We'll have more on that after this.